and they're going to infect them with herpes.
Oh, my gosh.
A fish herpes. I shit you not. A fish herpes. All right, and I thought, well, there goes the neighbourhood.
Welcome to the Fish Nerds Podcast, smart talk about fish, fishing, and eating fish. That is always interesting, usually funny, and mostly true. I'm Lindsay Withers, prettiest first mate at MaineTunaFishing.com, and here are the nerds.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Clay. And anything is fair game. It's a good bet that after tonight's show, you're going to want to start a fund drive and get a tote bag and do all the great things that people who donate to radio shows do.
Because we are inspiring. That's what we are.
Oh, yeah. So, boy, we've had a good run, Dave.
I know. We've been able to make friends with some people that I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah. You know what? We got friends in all the right places.
Yeah, there you go.
The lowest of the low.
There you go. And that reminds me,
public radio people.
The reason I'm distracted is I realize I have to get back to that email from the guy that invited us to the opera.
Ooh, we're going to go to the opera?
That's what he said. So I don't know if it's going to pan out. So I do want to mention it. We get an email from a guy that met us in Boston, and he says he's got a great tenor that is also a fish nerd. And he invited us to come down and interview him.
That's amazing.
I know.
What do you think a opera singer fish guy sings about?
My bobber.
Oh, salmon, no. Sardines are great. I don't know.
I don't know. I always thought Guns N' Roses should do a song called Big Minnow, Big Minnow.
I love it.
Yeah, Big Minnow. I always thought that would be good.
That'd been really good.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I was distracted. But no, WGBH invited us down to a show, and this show we're going to run that piece in it.
Cool.
And also we were on New Hampshire Public Radio.
Right. We got in the same day, got to go do both of those shows. The cool thing was about the WGBH Boston Public Radio, they were in New Hampshire covering the primaries. And they invited us down to the center of New Hampshire, which is just a big hotel. But they just said, we're in the hotel lobby doing a show. Why don't you come on down? And we had no idea what that meant.
I know.
We had a hard time finding parking, which was not a red flag. But we walk into the building, and it's like the media headquarters of the world.
It was incredible. Bloomberg had a studio set up. CNN had a studio set up.
MSNBC had the bar.
Yeah.
They bought us lunch.
They did. It was awesome. Yep.
And half the building was Comedy Central Daily Show.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It would have been, we were exhausted by the time we actually got our show done. And I didn't have a lot left in me. But it would have been great to stick around to see the Comedy Central.
It would have been really fun. Just to be part of all that. And you talk about fish out of water, Dave.
Right.
This is a big political event. You and I have no business there. We are the worst political people on earth. We don't know anything useful.
Yeah, that's true. Although I did feel some like nobody questioned us because I think we looked like every other audio nerd in the world.
Yeah.
There was just tons of people walking around with gear and, kind of schleppy and fiddling with stuff. Mm-hmm. And so we totally blended in that way.
Right.
But
yeah, it was fine. But man, was it cool talking to people and they're like, talk about their blogs and their vlogging and all this kind of stuff. The kind of stuff we do. And then they say, "Oh, why are you here?" And we're going to be on WGBH. And they're like, "Oh," and they're jealous. Like, how did you get that gig? Which, by the way, we don't have an answer for. We do not know why they like us or why they have us on, but they repeatedly have us on.
Yeah, it's awesome. So let's go right into that show.
Welcome back to Boston Public Radio. If you haven't figured out, it's the band Fish. It's time for our Friday news quiz. We were offered Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. We said, forget about it. Here with us in the Radisson lobby for their annual appearance are New Hampshire's own Clay Groves and Dave Kellum. You know them, I hope you do, as the host of the Fish Nerds podcast. Next week, the New Hampshire primary marks its 100th birthday, and next Monday, more importantly, the Fish Nerds will release their 100th show. Guys, it is great to see you, Dave and Clay.
Oh, hooray! Yay! Thank you.
Well,
Yeah,
wouldn't go that far.
we're very thrilled that you guys took the time to come up here and visit us.
No, one of us is really thrilled. No, we really are. No, I'm serious. We really are.
So before we find out exactly what the Fish Nerds are and what you guys do, we should point out that we did go fishing with you.
Ice fishing.
Ice fishing. Was
Yep.
it last year or the year before?
The year before.
Almost 2
year
years.
before.
yeah.
Okay, it was almost 2 years.
Seems like
And
yesterday.
we bundled up, and it was cold, and the ice was frozen. Where were we? What lake were we on?
What was that? It was Big Country Pond.
No, Big Island Pond.
Big
Whatever.
Island.
Big Island Pond.
Yep.
And you had the little fishing hut out there in the
Shanty,
middle of the
Bob
pond.
House, we call it.
Bob House. And I walked out there with you guys. But
Don't
Jim,
do
of
this
course,
again.
a little unsteady on his feet. He had to, what was he on, a toboggan or a sled? Or was
How'd
he
you
in a
get me
big
out to the
bucket?
Bob House? Let's get by this. How did you get me out there, please?
We put you in a jet sled and pulled you behind a snowmobile.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Nothing. That's what I would do.
So what is the problem?
It's Marjorie has something to prove, and she wanted to show that she was tough enough to handle the New
That's
Hampshire
right.
weather, and
That's
that you
right.
weren't.
Can I tell you, first of all, I'm insulted by what Marjorie said. Clay, thank you for support. And who caught the bigger fish? Me or Marjorie?
You did.
Thank you very much. How big was that baby?
It was like
huge.
3.5 inches.
At least.
Yellow perch, yeah.
It was.
It was a monster, yeah.
Terrible.
You know, we did. By the way, it was one of the worst days of my life. But it was. But other
It was
than that-
cold. It
other
was
than
very
that day,
cold.
you know what was huge fun? I mean, I've seen all these movies about Bob. We were having beer in the Bob House. We're eating. You're frying the fish. It was actually hugely great. What did we eat that day? Do you remember?
It was white, black crappie, actually.
It was black crappie.
Yeah,
Yes.
black crappie, really good. We had, like you said, we had the stove out there, and you got the full 9 yards experience of New Hampshire fishing out on the shed.
It's about 8 yards too much, actually. Give or take a
Well,
couple.
you know what was kind of neat? I'm not a big fish eater myself, but when you cook it from the lake about 30 seconds
Yeah, that's
after you get
true.
out of the lake, it does taste really good. It tastes
Yeah.
really good and different. So even I.
Did you
like
bring
that.
us some?
I did. So I was fishing on Tuesday before the warm rains came on. Went to Pisaki, and I caught white perch, which are temperate bass, close relative to a striper.
Sure.
So they're just a big old fat white fish.
This is radio, but thank you
Yeah,
for showing me.
I'm showing you a
Clay. I
picture.
appreciate
But you
it.
can see pictures at fishnerds.com. And so I cooked you
Did you
some.
bring a fork?
Of course.
Oh, my
Thank you.
goodness, look
Dave's
at that.
got a fork. Thank you very much. Why don't you talk to them while I taste it? What is
Yeah,
this thing
dig
I'm
right
eating
in.
again?
It's white perch,
White
which is a
perch.
temperate bass, close cousin to striper.
What day were you out on Winnipesaukee?
It was Tuesday.
I was out Wednesday. I can't believe I missed shit. So
Yeah, right.
It's nicely,
rain,
nicely breaded.
It is. That's panko breading.
Yeah.
it's
Panko
fabulous.
breading is
It's
very good.
Yeah.
And you kind of, thank you very much.
Yeah, fresh forks. You don't get his
Oh,
germs.
my goodness. Thank you
Hey,
very much.
go. What are you going to say?
Well, Winnipesaukee is world famous for their white perch, and it's a unique system that has smelt, lots of smelt, and they eat the smelt, and they grow bigger than anywhere else in the country.
Okay, for the 3 people listening who do not know what the Fish Nerds whole experience is, Dave, you can start. How'd you guys get started? What do you do? I mean, what is this whole thing?
Yeah, so we have day jobs, but we also have this passion with fish. And we met, I think, gosh, it was more like 15 years ago. We were working at a place that was all about fish education, and we realized we're both fish nerds. So one of the first things we did, we said, let's try to do something like this in our record books. Let's try to eat every kind of species of freshwater fish in New Hampshire.
Right, because Dave likes killing things.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, like we had some protesters last time. It's Dave is the murderer, not me.
So have you eaten we ask this every year.
Yeah.
How close are we to eating?
We're
have you
done.
You've eaten every
Yeah,
species?
in the very last one, Dave caught the state record channel catfish.
Yes,
That
my
is
name
not
is
true.
in
Is
the
that really
record
true?
books.
How big was that? 3.5 inches?
No, it was about
3.5 feet.
feet, yeah.
Where'd you get it?
In Hillsdale,
Hinsdale, New Hampshire,
Thank
on the
you.
Connecticut River. I'll do the speaking for you, Dave.
Wait a second. You're the New Hampshire fish nerds? and
Yes.
You didn't even know where you caught the fish.
Yeah, no.
Close enough. Okay.
Look, people in New Hampshire don't really know where Hinsdale is either. Sorry.
Here's how this
That's
is
a
going
pretty
to go.
big. Hold on for 1 second. Is that a freshwater fish?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a pretty big fish.
Here's
for
what's going to happen. We
freshwater.
don't care about the
3.5
fish.
feet. We do.
Here's
I
what's
care
going to
about
happen.
the fish.
We're going to ask them the basic questions, go through that part of the quiz. Before we go to the bonus round, apparently you have a fish-related political quiz for us?
Yeah, we always try to prepare for your show
I love
because
that.
we like to get your world mixed with our world.
Beautiful.
So we came up with 3 politically themed
fabulous.
little
Okay,
quiz.
we'll ask you questions first, then you'll ask us.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Dave the first question. Oh, you start. You ask Dave or Clay, whoever you want. Who do you
Okay,
want to say?
I'll ask Dave the first question.
Go ahead.
You ready, Dave?
I am.
Here's Jimmy Fallon with an update on Jeb Bush's campaign.
Of course, Jeb's had a tough couple of months campaigning. Despite a poor showing in Iowa, he was back at it yesterday in New Hampshire. And if nothing else, he still knows how to work a crowd.
I think the next president needs to be a lot quieter, but send a signal that we're prepared to act in the national security interests of this country to get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please.
So, do you know what Jeb Bush was asking people to please do?
He was working the crowd, and he said, just please clap.
He did.
Just please.
Can I
He
tell you,
did.
he was treated unfairly.
Oh,
on that.
gosh.
They didn't clap. He had a smile on his face when he said, please clap, and then they did clap. It was a rather sad moment. Okay, it's 1-0, Clay. Here's the deal.
Oh, gosh.
President Obama did something he has never done before this week. Listen, please.
President Obama is planning to visit a for his first time as president. Yeah. When asked why, Obama said, I wanted to go to the one place in America where I won't see Donald Trump. I just...
That's actually pretty good. Yeah. What did Obama visit this week, please?
It's one of two things. Either he went to a nice shanty and went fishing,
yes,
or he went to a mosque.
That's exactly correct. It is tied 1-1. Our buzzer's a little delayed today. It's 1-1 at the end of one round.
By the way, both cases, Donald Trump, no chance.
By the way, since you guys are New Hampshireites, has it been intense, this pummeling with ads and phone calls and surveys and all that for you?
Yeah, absolutely. We just stopped answering the home phone.
Yeah, that's
you
what people
do.
You have
a home phone?
Yeah, we do
it's
still.
2016.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Do people call on your cell phone?
My wife gets phone calls
on her cell phone.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know who she's talking to.
Okay, and the ads have been pretty much nonstop.
Nonstop. But you know what's cool is this year it doesn't count. But every other election cycle, I've met everyone I've ever voted for.
Is that really true?
Yeah.
That is so New Hampshire.
It's so
is that
cool.
really true?
Yeah. This year I didn't meet anybody. My wife met I think Bernie Sanders and John Kasich, but I haven't met anybody.
Well, is that because you were just hanging out in different places, or what's the...
I live in North Conway, and they all... the only place worth going to up north is North Conway, so they all go there.
Okay. So we're talking to the Fish Nerd. What's your website, Fish Nerds?
FishNerds.com.
Yeah. That's obvious. So who is the fish community behind in this primary season? Is there one candidate or no?
No, it's a diverse group for sure.
The fish community.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
sometimes.
Okay, now here's question 3
okay, Dave,
for
here we
Dave.
go. Bernie Sanders' campaign has a new priority when it comes to potential voters.
Bernie Sanders says his campaign is trying to appeal now to... The problem is every time Bernie says feel the burn, the seniors think he's talking about acid reflux.
Okay, who is Sanders trying to appeal to?
That would be the older audience, the seniors.
We sort of gave that away.
Yeah,
Give him only 3/4 of a point for that. It's really not fair.
Not Dave's fault.
That's not your fault. Okay, give him the whole point.
Thank
now,
you.
Clay, you can tie this baby up if you get this
it's
one
on,
right.
Dave.
Okay, ready? Vowing to bomb the heck out of ISIS has earned Donald Trump a high honor. Here it is.
Donald Trump has been nominated for a... The letter that nominated him cited, quote, his vigorous through strength ideology used as a threat weapon of deterrence against radical Islam, ISIS, nuclear Iran, and communist China.
This is apparently true. What is Trump a nominee for? Do you know?
I heard this, and
I hadn't.
My head nearly just fell off.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was crazy. Peace Prize.
Yeah, Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
By the way, how great, Dave, would it be to see his head pop off? No, I'm serious. Would that not help the ratings of the Fish Nerds podcast hugely?
You know, you can't hurt the ratings.
Are we supposed to be upset by this, the Nobel Peace Prize?
No, apparently, if someone writes a letter, I guess you can be in.
Right. I nominated Dave for King of the Robots.
Yes.
It doesn't mean anything, but he's totally got my nomination.
Vote today.
Yeah.
So, for people who haven't heard your podcast before, you ask your questions of us, and
Sure.
then we'll do the bonus round to see who the winner is amongst the Fish Nerds. What do you talk about exactly on this thing?
Well,
fish, I know, but I mean, how?
The theme is always about fish, and we run into lots of interesting people. Case in point, we ran into you folks and went fishing with you. But we run into all sorts of folks. And so the podcast kind of melds fishing information. So if you're an angler, you get all the latest tips and tricks and all that stuff. But then you learn about the people that we know and we fish with. And the big thing is we have a Fish Nerd Network, and it's an international network. And it's this new digital world. So we got a guy in Australia. We got a woman scientist in Kansas. We have a couple guys in California. And they all chime in on social media, and they're all part of the show. So it's a really amazing, low-budget community around fishing.
You know, I just realized, Clay, now think about it. Excuse me for interrupting you, Dave, but not only did I catch a bigger fish, I also, Margery was unable to, what do you call it, drill the hole? What is that thing called where you drill the hole?
Drilling the hole.
Drilling the hole. But Margery couldn't
use the auger, right?
The auger.
Yeah.
But didn't I do, I did it. Did I not?
You remarkably strong for a flatlander. I was surprised.
Yeah, well, you got a pound advantage,
Okay, fine,
Jim.
thank you. Now, before we get to the bonus round, by the way, it's tied 2-2 between the two fish nerds, which is really exciting. We'll get to the bonus round in a minute. You have questions for us.
We do.
How do you plan to do this?
Oh, right. So the theme is we're melding the two. So it's the fishin' politician. All right.
Fishin' politician, okay.
So these questions are sort of crossword puzzle-ish. All right.
Oh.
Okay.
All fishin' politicians keep their eyes on what?
Exactly.
So you're going to think about something that's both in the realm of politics and fishing.
Say that question again,
Fishin'
please.
Fishin' politicians keep their eyes on their whats?
I thought it was the lure, but
On the
wrong.
bait.
No, on their poles.
Wait, by the way, don't give us the answer like in 10 seconds. Okay, let's play this out a little bit. Okay, that was pathetic.
They've got time to fill.
Are they all this bad? Or are
Yeah,
they not?
they get worse.
They get worse.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. What's the second question?
We'll give you the last
Clay
one.
doesn't get to ask these?
He gets the last one.
Doesn't
Okay.
trust me.
Go ahead.
Doesn't trust me.
Fishin' politicians' campaign slogans are their what? So, fishin'.
Poles.
They're bait.
Switch.
They're lure. I already said that.
They're hooks.
They're hooks.
The hook.
Oh,
That's a
geez.
media joke, right?
We're doing terribly
Well, it's funny.
here.
There's only 3 possible answers. And,
Yeah.
and so
We got the 2 that it wasn't.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's fine.
All right, Clay, finish it
Okay,
up.
go, Clay.
All right. So fishing politicians never forget what?
Wait a second.
Fishing
Hold on.
politicians never forget.
Don't answer this because I want to get one right. Do you
Yeah.
know what it is? Margery, do you know what
No.
it is?
No.
Well, say it again. Fishing
Politicians never forget.
Their line.
Oh, that's how, you should get a half point for that. That's pretty
Quarter-
good.
Yeah,
quarter
yeah.
point.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's good.
fishing politicians never forget their base. Their wait, no, give me a hint. Give me a little hint.
Bait.
Oh, you're close. Debate. Yeah.
Can I tell you, with all due respect, next time we'll ask the question. Okay, no, really. it's
Dave
our
knows.
I
show.
thought those were very clever,
No,
actually.
they were actually very
They're
sad.
very clever.
These came from our online network. Our Fish Nerds fans wrote these and said
They're fabulous.
Oh, they
Yeah,
were very
really
good.
are.
We got
They're
them all
super-
wrong, Jim.
Not the
Every single
smartest
thought
of fans,
today.
You guys, in all seriousness, I mean, you mentioned your wife got a ton of calls and all that. Do you guys? We're not going to put. Well, maybe we'll put
You
on the
can.
spot. Do you get involved in politics, or are you apolitical types, or what are you, Dave? Starting with you.
Yep, I'm much more on the left, and I have been involved in political stuff.
So, who's
before.
your guy or woman?
I'm going with Hillary.
And well, that's interesting. You're far on the left, and you're going with that. And why
I am.
is she over Bernie Sanders?
Because I've gotten old enough that I want something stable. And I feel that she is going to be more stable. You know, in college, sitting around, shooting the theoretical stuff, yes. Yeah, Bernie Sanders would have been right on. But I just feel like we need a little stability in this crazy area.
By the way, we just got an email. You lost 3/4 of the subscribers to
I
your
was gonna
podcast
say-
just now. Okay, thank you very much. How about you? You're going to dance, I can tell.
I'm the worst politics guy ever.
Really?
My mother-in-law was a big Kasich supporter, put a sign on my lawn, and I didn't know what to do with it. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know who I
Don't tell
like.
us. Please don't tell us you're not voting.
I'm going to vote.
So you're going to. Well, you don't know.
He's going to
now.
make
Is
up
that-
his mind like all these New Hampshire
You're one of
voters
the
as he
40
walks into the poll.
I honestly probably, my wife wants me to vote for Bernie Sanders. I'd probably do what she wants.
That is really sad.
But,
smart.
Dave is the founding member of the leftist marching band.
Is that really true?
It is
What
true.
do you play?
I'm a drummer.
Wow,
Yes.
that's very exciting.
So-
Okay, I'm
You know
glad
what's
I asked.
interesting?
What?
The couples we met up here, that the wife is with Hillary and the husband is with Bernie, so they
Yeah.
have these divided households. It's kind of neat.
So we're a divided household.
Yeah.
The nerds.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Here's the bonus round. Now
Here's
it's
the bonus
2-2.
round.
And what that means is that whoever wins the bonus round will actually be the winning nerd, a winning fish nerd of this particular week. So here's the
We'll
deal.
switch it up. I start with Clay this time.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet. I have to tell you the theme. In honor of our guests, the hosts of the Fish Nerds pod, they actually are the Fish Nerds podcast. The theme of this week's bonus round is the famous jam band Fish.
Oh, gosh.
You know what? By the way, I hope I'm not going to give away an answer. But you and Howard Dean, before we went on the air, were actually talking about Fish. Were you not? Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
they had a connection to Burlington, Vermont.
He says they started actually in Burlington, and the drummer, I think, you're the drummer.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
drummer of Fish actually still lives there, according to Howard Dean, and I would think he knows what he's talking about. Don't you
Sure,
think? Okay,
sure.
First question, Margery to Clay.
Okay,
It is
here we go,
tied
Clay.
2-2.
They're multiple choice questions.
Okay.
No one ever gets them right. The band Fish met in college at the University of Vermont.
I hope I didn't get
What
this
was
right.
the unusual subject of guitarist Trey Anastasio's college musical thesis, The Man Who Stepped Into Yesterday? A, the fictional land Gamehenge, populated by lizards and an evil overlord named Wilson. B, a fictional animal called a Snorlax, which is an anteater chinchilla hybrid.
Anteater, not anti-eater.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Let's start all over
I have to
again.
take off. I can't read with my glasses on. I have to take
How
them off.
are you guys? Good?
We're doing good.
Okay.
C, a fictional board game called Weekapog, which involves costumes and charades. Okay. The lizard, the chinchilla hybrid, or the Weekapog?
Oh, that's a very good question.
That's a good question.
It's common knowledge, this answer. It's definitely the Weekapog.
You are correct. Wow, that was very good. That was very good.
Well, I'm not sure that's the right answer, but in any case, no, I'm really not, based on what we have here. Okay, now,
I'm not sure it's either.
who answered that question? Clay? Okay,
Yeah, Clay
Dave,
got that.
you're down one.
I am.
Here's a chance.
Let's see, we're going to stick with it, Jim.
This is unbelievable. Drummer John Fishman? Is that a joke or is that a real thing? Drummer, it's real? Drummer John Fishman, thank you, Jason, is known for playing an unusual instrument. What is it? You paying attention?
I am.
Okay, here are the choices. An electric kazoo. B, was that you? A vacuum cleaner. And a didgeridoo. A didgeridoo. Is it A, B, or C? Vacuum cleaner is, let me do them in order. An electric kazoo, a vacuum cleaner, or whatever that thing is. A didgeridoo.
It's Australian.
Yeah, didgeridoo is Australian. Not really all that unusual.
Oh, excuse me.
I would
Okay.
have to go with the vacuum cleaner.
That is
You are
exactly
correct.
So you know what this
Wow.
means, you guys? This means whoever gets this one right
Okay.
is the winner of
Pressure's
this week's
on.
quiz.
Is there a bell to ring in? Or are we
No, you can ring. Go ahead.
Go
Take
ahead. I give you
Take
the
your
first
time.
shot.
Who's this go to?
I've taken my
Clay.
glasses off so I can read now. During their 1994 New Year's Eve show at Madison Square Garden, fish floated toward the stage in a giant what? A, hot dog. B, UFO. Or C, a rainbow fish.
Gosh. Can you say those again?
A, hot dog.
Hot dog.
B, UFO. C, rainbow fish.
It had to be the rainbow fish. No, hot dog. No. Yeah.
Hot dog.
So we got it right. You were the
You
winner.
changed last minute. That
This
was
is unbelievable.
great.
Everybody in the
No,
that we're
all right.
broadcasting from is standing and
So I want
applauding.
to take a page from Sanders and even Trump. I challenge that.
Oh, I love
challenge
that.
You can challenge that.
result.
That is fast. Now, the winner is Clay. Now, again, tell us one more time before we dismiss the two of you. What exactly, how do we find you? Fish Nerds?
So the Fish Nerds podcast can be found at fishnerds.com.
Yes.
Or we're on Facebook at Fish Nerds and Twitter at Fish Nerds and everywhere else as Fish Nerds. So we're easy to find.
Yeah.
It's great to see you guys.
So,
Dave and Clay, it is wonderful to see you, and congratulations on your victory. We hope we see you again soon. We'll see you next year.
Thank you very much. What kind of fish is that again that we're eating?
That's a white perch.
White perch. It is delicious. Those are little fish, right? Little pretty fish?
They're a big one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great to see you
don't
guys.
fool around.
Thank you.
So, you know what we should do, Margery,
What
for the
should we
last
do,
couple? We
Jim?
should sum up sort of what.
Before you're
And
back.
come to New Hampshire. Come see us on Monday.
Yeah.
Come see the candidates, the surrogates, the media people, elected officials. This is where all the action is, and we're here live through Tuesday night till everything is done.
We want to thank Mark McKinnon, Matt Visor, the Governor, Howard Dean, that was here before, Clay Groves and Dave Kellum, who just left. They're known as the hosts of the Fish Nerds. And as we said before, they're releasing their 100th show on Monday. Thank you all for
Andy
listening.
Smith was here, too, from UNH.
That's right.
Forgot
Andy
about
Smith
him.
was here. Who else would I forget? Anybody
Ray
else?
Buckley, the chair
Ray
of the
Buckley, the
Democratic
chair of the
Party. We
Democratic
spoke to
Party.
the chair of the Republican
That's right.
Party yesterday.
So thank you all for listening to another edition of Boston Public Radio. On Monday, live from New Hampshire, we're going to talk to Ben of Ben and Jerry's and Bill Crystal. Our show's a production of WGBH. Our crew, Chelsea Murs, Amanda McGowan, Tori Bedford, Jason Tereski, our engineer, John McClaw, Parker and Doug Shoegards. Thank you to all our crew. Tune in for Emily Rooney tonight at 7 o'clock, WGBH. Beat the Press. I'm Margery Egan.
We hope you see you in New Hampshire, and we hope you listen to us Monday at 11.
Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend.
So that is a fun thing to do.
Love it. And we are funny. I'm just saying, you're on fire.
Well, we actually did really well on the quiz.
We did. I knew stuff, Dave.
You did, although you cheated at the end.
I did, and I didn't know any of the fish answers. I didn't know any of them. I just guessed.
Yeah. Well, you guess with confidence, which is always a good thing.
Yeah. So,
but anyway, no, it was great, and they're such nice people.
Yeah, so a big thank you to Jim and Margery and WGBH for having us on again. We'll come on anytime.
Fish in the news.
I love fish in the news. Good day.
Good day, because I'm saying the fish in the news is going to be delivered with a twist, with a south of the equator, water going the other way in a toilet twist.
Right, so counterclockwise twistiness.
We've got Luke Chammings from Chamo's Lures.
Yeah, and you can find Chamo's Lures on Facebook. Just do a search for Chamo's Lures, and he makes great-looking handmade lures. But not only that, he's a great guy, and we like him a lot. You know what he did, Dave?
What?
So my wife sent my daughter is in first grade kindergarten, and she did this Flat Stanley project, and she mailed Luke a Flat Stanley, and then Luke, this Australia guy who's kind of like gruff and beer drinking, guy, he takes Flat Stanley, this little paper cutout, all over the place, fishing with him and doing his aquaculture work and all that stuff, and then hanging out with models and in hot tubs, and he keeps emailing my daughter these pictures of Flat Stanley with models, like with big giant boobs and in the hot tub and all that stuff. So I don't know how appropriate it all is, but she's loving it. So.
I particularly enjoy the comments on those ones with the in the hot tub of like, I guess Flat Stanley's not as flat as he used to be anymore.
Waka waka. Yeah. So, all good.
All good. Yeah. So, we caught up with Luke.
But today is just a lovely 30 degrees, and it has been for quite a while. We've got a weird sort of weather pattern happening at the moment. No rain, but no real heat, like not into the 40s where it normally does.
I'm doing a little bit of Australian math here.
Okay.
And so by my calculations, 30 degrees Celsius is the equivalent to 118 Fahrenheit, according to my math.
100?
No.
Or like 80, 85 or 86 degrees.
Yeah. Have you got your abacus with you there, or you're slotting a few beads, a little bean counter?
That's right.
The problem with Clay in the winter, his math gets bad because he can't count his toes.
I know. He got nice fuzzy socks on.
That's it. Anything past 11 and he's struggling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not that you got 11 toes, Clay. I was just...
on my left foot, I do have an extra. Yeah.
Well, I'm surprisingly not surprised.
Someday I'll show you.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic! Look forward to that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go on with the show.
So, Luke, I hear you have some news.
I do.
Oh, what
do you want to hear first? 7-metre sharks. That's you want to do the conversion there, Clay? That'll be 400 foot or something. I've got a 7-metre shark in the local waters at the moment, and there's been a bit of hysteria about him. Scaremongering, I call it. A certain news station that shall remain anonymous. Scaremongering just isn't needed when they're 7 metres, I don't think. They pop up next to the boat, everyone shits themselves, scaremongering done. I mean, you don't need to put it on the... You don't need to put it on the news and ham it up that he's out there growing legs and going to come on the beach and attack someone or something. It's just ridiculous.
How many people has he eaten so far?
Well, at 7 metres, I don't know what the food conversion rate is for humans to metres. Let's say it's...
every meter is 2 people.
Yeah, so, 333 people.
Easy.
But, look, who's to say he's done anything? But, I mean, he's massive. You got to see it to believe it. It's just, it pops up next to 5-metre, 20-odd foot boats and et cetera, et cetera. He just dwarfs them. He's wider than they are. He's longer than they are. And... probably hungrier than they are, I suppose.
Great white shark?
Yes, it is, yeah, and a great white. I mean, he probably swims from here to Africa and back. I mean, they cruise around a fair bit, these big ones. So, but 7 metres, I'd like to see him in the raw. It'd be, be something you'd never forget, I reckon. I mean, I think he came up to a shark cage. There is a photo of an enormous shark coming up to a shark cage, and there's moron sticks his arm out of the cage. Yes, you heard me. He sticks his arm out of the cage and pats it on the nose. I'm just like, mate, one little, and it's gone. I mean, it's just,
but at the same time, he can say he did that.
Yeah. And say, here comes Stumpy Johnson, and
Lefty.
He patted a shark once. Yeah.
I just did a little bit of research. So at 7 meters, that's only 3 feet shy of the shark in Jaws.
Wow.
Yeah, and, there's a ton on the fin, and I'll catch that bird for you and all of that. But no, he's the real deal.
Wow. That's a big fish.
And you will need a bigger boat.
Now, is it a male or a female? Do you know?
Well, I don't know. I call him he, but, probably is a big girl. Who I don't know. I don't think anyone's, gone up to look at its private parts. It's not tagged or anything, because normally if it's tagged or it's a resident, they've got a nick in their tail or something, they can, the shark people, they recognise them.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, he's just popped up in the Gulf, and it's not an overly big Gulf, and, he put the wind up a lot of people. So, good on him.
I think it's great.
Yeah, that is good. All
right, here's another one for you. This is sources from a Tim Webstone, which is from our good government. There was a cod release, Murray cod, in South Australia, first time in history. There's supposed to be 120,000 fingerlings released into the lower Murray, which is in desperate need of all the help it can get. They've done 40,000 so far. The others are coming. But I noticed they were talking, which is great news for absolutely everyone. I think I've been on about this 2 years before. I mean, the towns along the river are excited about it. 3-4 years down the track, these fish that do survive will be catchable fish, and people travel all around Australia to catch this fish, the iconic Murray cod. But I did have a giggle when he said that they've been tattooed. And I thought, well, hello. And it must be some type. Don't ask me how they've done it. I don't know if they all roll up down the local tattoo parlour and...
I think it requires, first of all, they get shore leave, right?
Yep.
And then they drink some whiskey.
Yeah.
And then they roll on down to the tattoo parlor.
That's exactly right. And they get mum and dad and the whole...
They all say Shamos right on the side of them.
Yeah, that's what I say. Oh, when Shamos lures, get into it across my chest. No, they say it's I think it's obviously a digital tattoo. So these things. So we've got these tattooed cod, and I thought, how tough's that?
It's badass.
But then later in the week, we find out that we've got a pest species, as you probably do, European carp. They are maligned and hated. Simple as that. And they're going to infect them with herpes.
Oh, my gosh.
A fish herpes. I shit you not. A fish herpes. All right, and I thought, well, there goes the neighbourhood. Got cod cruising around all tatted up and tough. You got the carp cruising around with herpes. I mean, all we need now is the yellow belly to start prostituting themselves, and we got the trifecta. So, it's crazy. But this is the word. We're going to genetically modify a fish type, herpes type of virus. They've got about 18 months of testing to go. There's a lot of people against it. And to be honest, their track record, cane toads, even redfin were brought in to control the yabbies that were eating the dam walls out all the time, like burrowing into the dam walls and collapsing the dams. They brought redfin in to control that because they took over the world. So, yeah, the track record's probably not like... And I think with any bio... what am I trying to say?
Biocontrol?
Biocontrol, thank you, Dave. That is always fraught with danger.
Always.
And the science has to be spot on, it has to be spot on, or public just won't let it happen. And I fear that the public will probably can this one.
So if you're a carp with the herpes and you meet another carp and you're wanting to make new carp, do you say to your partner, hey, look, baby, like everyone's got it. It's not really a big deal.
They're a disgusting animal anyway, but the thought of a mud marlin, smelly old carp with herpes to boot, Oh, my God. What had come of the Murray River?
Your tourist association must be just proud as punch.
Oh, yeah.
Come down to our waters and see our herpes-infested fish.
It's got a ring to it, hasn't it?
It does.
As long as you say it with an accent, it works.
No, that's true.
That's it.
Anything with the accent.
I've started a small little aquaponics business with a friend of mine, and we're growing out silver perch, bidianus. They are to be released back into the wild, and we're growing vegetables off of their waste. So, it's been good. That's been a great little experiment, and it's actually starting to turn $1 now, so I squeeze that into my work day, and feeding the fish is always fun, and water changing and water testing and all the bits and pieces that goes with it, and because I'm still studying, so it's helping with that too, and we've had interest about our fish because bigger fish are a bit hard to transport interstate and that, and if the local people can get older fish locally, well, they'll be a lot happier and a lot less fish deaths in travel. These are fish that are over 6 inches long, I'm talking about, so they're ready to go as soon as they're released. You know what I mean? They're fending for themselves and they're actually acting like a fish as opposed to a big mob of little fries swimming around just waiting to get gobbled up or something. So that's all very exciting and keeping me very busy, to be honest.
So you have Shamo's lures. You're still making lures, right? Are you still a carpenter?
Yes.
And now you're a fish daddy?
Yep. I'm growing out my little babies, 500 of them.
What kind of fish are they again?
Silver perch. They're not overly colourful or anything, but they're quite a large fish. They're omnivores, so they'll eat a bit of everything, which is good. They only have a small mouth, which is unusual for an Australian native, including myself. Because they've got small mouths, grading's not such an issue. They don't eat each other. They can't really fit each other down their guts. There's not much damage they can do to each other, so that's good. Yeah. But we're going to heat more tanks in the following couple of weeks, and we'll have cod, Murray cod as well, growing out. And these are all to be released back into the wild. So we're just sort of getting them through their younger years. And I thought, well, while we're doing it, we'll grow vegetables off of the wastewater. Well, it's not even wastewater, it's all recirculated. The vegetables take all the nitrates and nitrites and ammonia and everything out of the water, and by the time they've had their drink and it gets back to the main tank, it's all cleaned up and ready for the fish to crap in it again and start the whole process again. So it's, from fish poo to you was our catchphrase, but it hasn't taken off that well, so we changed it. But they grow quite large, 10 pound is an unusual, and we've got big breeders down at the college where I study, and they actually, for the first time, spawned in captivity with no prostaglandin injections or any outside interference at all. We had a really hot week and then a couple of cold nights and the fluctuation of the temperature and everything. We come in and what do you know, we've got like 75,000 baby silver perch swimming around. But by the time anyone conned on to what had happened, we saved what we could, but yeah, the rest is history, unfortunately. With fish breeding, especially Australian natives, it's not getting them to do the deed and not hatching them out now. It's that next stage, because freshwater rotifers and Artemia are quite hard to get hold of in sufficient numbers. So they quite often simply just starve, because we can't feed them enough. Invent a way or work out a way to culture freshwater Artemia and freshwater rotifer and sea monkeys and that sort of stuff.
Get the back of a comic book and the sea monkey order form is right there.
Yeah. Buy enough comics, I suppose you'll feed a few.
Yeah.
According to the website I'm looking at here, they eat freshwater shrimp.
Yep.
And for bait. And then it says the second best bait to freshwater shrimp is scrub worms.
Yes, and we are doing worms as well. We've got 4,000 worms growing at the moment, but ours aren't scrub worms. Ours are tiger worms and European night crawlers.
Wow.
So, they are a great fish for fish farming. They're perfect, and they're reasonably priced, and they're readily available. They travel well, they're hardy, not bad eating. They're not a bad sport fish. They've got a bit going for them. So, we're keen to... and these will be our little local waters around just this Barossa district in South Australia. So we'll be releasing them into reservoirs and stuff like that so the public can fish for them. So generally, apart from a bit of income coming in from the lettuces and bits and pieces, we don't really get a great deal out of it except the satisfaction of knowing that one day the resis will be full of fish that I had something to do with breeding or was part of the stocking, and people will buy my lures to go and fish for these fish, and there's how it marries up. So we went from lures to this, and we're managing to keep everything running at the moment, so it's good.
We got a phone call for you, Luke.
Cool. Hit me.
All right, it's Ryan Dubay. Here's my question for Luke. I've always been intrigued by the LV fishing reels you guys have in Australia. We have nothing like that here in the U.S. They look like they cast a mile, and they're just weird, but I can order one and get one here in the U.S., and I've thought about it for a couple of years. I just want to know what his feelings are about them versus a regular spinning reel. Do they really cast that far, and are they worthwhile?
Well, it's very, very old technology, but proven technology. Now, if that school of salmon or redfish or something you blokes are fishing for off the beach is 120 yards out, not 100, everyone will be wanting an Alby because you will get to the school. They do cut because you turn the face, you can rotate the face of the spool to face out to sea, and then the line, and because it's such a big face on the spool, there'd be 6 or 7 inches across the face of the spool. The line peels off in big ringlets really fast, and if you got a decent sinker on, you can cast a mile, literally. And there's another reel out there that's a hybrid, like an egg beater, cross with an Alby, where the spool doesn't rotate, just stays facing that way, and that was designed by Western Australian shark fishermen. Same thing, big cast way out over the breakers into the back troughs and that, and then it's got the strength and they're just a really big mechanical sort of lure, very agricultural is probably the word. But Albies are a proven brand. They'd have to be close to 100 years old. They seriously would be. They've been around forever. And, by all means, get one just to say you got one. Go down to the beach with your sinker on with your mates and just outcast them by 30 yards every time. They'll soon sort of, want one too. They're a little bit not as easy to use, but they are about casting. That's what they're for, is to get out over the surf and get in amongst them schools of fish that line them big gutters and et cetera, et cetera. But no, by all means, Ryan, buy Australian, get one.
They are a wild-looking machines.
$300 for an Alby and a big 12-foot rod is probably pretty good buying, actually. It's only $150 an item.
Yep. I don't know.
That's Australian dollars. You're like me, Clay. You're a tight ass and you go to the garage sales and you buy the $5 rod for the kids, and I do the same. All my redfin gear all comes from garage sales and bits and pieces. You don't need... We laugh at quite a few of the comp fishermen when we go on these big cod comps because they've got thousands of dollars of shit hanging off their bait. We dawdle around with, our few $100 reel and rod combo, and we catch bigger fish than them and quite often more. So,
the fish don't know what you're holding.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
You're not impressing anyone but other fishermen when it comes to that, Bizzo. Yeah. I mean, when you're talking like, say, kingfish and 150 kilogram tuna barrels and stuff like, maybe there's a case for it then.
Sure.
But one of them sea martins, you could convert it to your rod, and I did, and they work fine, and there's nothing out there that will stop them. They are just a strong unit, and they're great. They do twist your line a little, though. That's one thing that's probably not in their favour, because they weave the line onto it's like a weave when the line gets fed back onto the spool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strange thing, but But like I said, as far as casting, unbeaten. You happy with that, Ryan? I hope so.
Ryan likes everything.
He does.
Yeah.
Righto. Well, people, if you are keen on lures, don't be scared by the tyranny of distance. Facebook page.
Like you just get an algae and cast all the way to Australia.
That's it. I'll tie a lure on and you just reel him back. I can't guarantee you won't catch
on
fish
and
on the
cast
way
it back.
That's not my fault. But no, get onto Facebook, Chamo's Lures. Scroll through, have a look, have a comment. Personal message me if you want anything. We send stuff overseas reasonably regularly. And I'd love to send some lures over to New Hampshire or wherever you're from. So, yeah, Chamo's Lures, get into it. Get on the Facebook and check me out. All wooden, all handmade from down under. Take it easy, man. Love talking to yous. See ya.
Bye.
Yeah.
Would you like a tote bag?
Only if it's made out of canvas.
And it's got that public radio vibe, that public radio feel.
Still got that free bag smell.
We got to see one of our favorite people, Virginia Prescott.
I like her.
I know. And you know, her name fits her really well to me.
I think so.
You know, hello, I'm Virginia Prescott. And she looks like somebody named Virginia Prescott.
Yeah. You know, it's funny when you meet people with names, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
You can't imagine different names with them. It doesn't matter who they are.
Right.
Like, you look like a Dave Kellum.
Well,
just the way it is. I can't tell you why.
Yeah. No, that's true. And so, yeah, Virginia is definitely Virginia. And it's always great to talk with her. And she interviewed us on, well, here it is, on some ice fishing stuff.
Word of mouth.
This is Word of Mouth from NHPR and Virginia Prescott. Between the paltry snow cover and spring-like temperatures, suffice it to say this has been a very strange New Hampshire winter, and the unseasonably warm temperature has put a dent in many winter activities. Among the hardest hit, ice fishing. So what is someone to do if they just want to hook, line, and sinker this winter? Well, here with some answers are Dave Kellum and Clay Groves. They are hosts of the Fish Nerds podcast. Hello, Dave and Clay.
Hello.
Great to have you back with us. So has there been much ice fishing this winter?
Yeah, there has. The trick is being safe and being smart about getting out on the ice because ice forms in different ways in different places.
Has there been ice in officially declared in New Hampshire or anywhere this year?
So ice in Winnipesaukee, I don't think has been declared. Winnipesaukee has been a very tough lake this year to fish, but there's tons of small ponds that have been we call relatively safe. You know, safe is a term we don't use on the ice. It's all relative to where you're fishing right now. So each angler is responsible for their own safety. But there are people fishing Winnipesaukee today. I drove by this morning and saw people on the ice. So
I have to drive past Turkey Pond when I come and go to work, and I noticed that it was looking absolutely sloshy there yesterday. So how do people determine? I mean, obviously you can see, but is there any official declaration?
There are some tips and tricks that anglers do, and early ice anglers will often have spikes that are these 6-inch long things with handles that they put around their neck. So when they fall in, they have something to grip and pull themselves out with.
Right, but those aren't very good for determining ice thickness.
No.
What you really want to do is, I mean, what I generally do is let someone else go out first with a bigger truck or snowmobile than me. But what you really want to do is you want to check as you go. So the recommendation is you get a big spud or a big pole with a heavy chisel on the end of it, and you take a few steps out and you try to chisel to the ice. If it goes through really easy, get off the ice. But really, over 4 inches, 4 to 6 inches is pretty comfortable to be on. And beyond that, it just gets better and better.
So as far as ice fishing is concerned, is this an unusual winter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Usually, I can start ice fishing in the end of November, beginning of December, and can fish till April. This year, I didn't go on until almost January, which is way crazy. And there are spots that we fished for years that we can't touch this year because of the warm weather.
Well, what happens to the fish's and aquatic life cycle when there is no ice cover? I mean, is it kind of business as usual, or is ice part of it all?
Well, they've been dealing with fluctuating situations for eons, as long as they've been around. But typically, ice will seal in all the oxygen in a pond or in a lake. So when there is ice, for the most part, there's not going to be any more oxygen. So the clock is ticking for the spring to open up the water and get oxygen back in the system. Now, if sunlight can get through the ice, the weeds will still produce oxygen, but as soon as you get snow, it really diminishes. So from a fish's point of view, it's probably not the worst thing in the world to have some open water on a lake because it aerates it and they don't suffocate. On really bad winters like last year, although I'm not sure I heard about this in specifically New Hampshire, but certainly out in the Midwest, whole lakes will have a die-off, a winter kill is what it's called. Mm-hmm. And the fish just suffocate. So when the ice melts, there's just piles of fish laying around that is suffocated.
That's part of the natural cycle?
Yeah, it is. Because they will respond, they will rebound. And not every fish dies. So, 90% may die, but those 10% will repopulate. But yeah, it is part of the natural cycle.
Which fish are people actually catching when they're ice fishing?
There are several different kinds. There's two big families, I guess you would say, in New Hampshire. Cold water species, warm water species. Cold water are typically more like the native brook trout would be one. So a lot of trout anglers like to fish. They like to fish in shallow water up near sandy areas.
And isn't it moving? Doesn't it have to be moving for trout?
No. And in lakes, not at all, or ponds. Pretty much you stock a trout somewhere, it'll be happy to live there.
Well, the fun thing about trout fishing is the reason they're fishing shallow is trout will chase small fish into the shallow water and use the ice to trap the fish. It kind of crowds them in, and then they gobble them up. And so trout anglers typically will fish in 1 to 2 feet of water, which if you're looking for a relatively safe way to fish, maybe you want to fish really shallow. If you fall through, you just walk out.
Yeah, you just walk out, exactly.
Clever trout, clever fisherman in that case. Okay, so that's a question. Is there a gender-neutral term for fishermen?
Angler.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Yeah. Although I know women who could refer to themselves as fishermen.
Yeah, I've heard, Linda Greenlaw calls herself a lobsterman.
Yeah,
see?
Exactly.
Right? This is just how it goes. All right. I've always wondered about what happens to bob houses after these quick shifts. Because, you'll see them there over the weekend, and then the ice is gone. What happened? Are there a bunch of bob houses remains sinking in the bottom of ponds?
There are, and I'm sure there's some we'll never know about until some diver finds them. But what happens with a bob house, especially if on this year's been a really good example. A shanty gets put out, and it's doing fine, and then the water warms up. We get some snow and slush, and what happens is really slowly the ice swallows the shanty because heat generates out from the shanty, not from the heaters in it, but the sun bouncing off of it and that sort of thing. And so they can get swallowed by the lake. And this year, with the crazy fluctuation in temperatures, it's going to happen a lot. Alton Bay the other day, several shanties met their match there, and I'm sure there's a lot of pieces of shanties at the bottom because you have to go out with a chainsaw and a bunch of tools and ropes and just drag pieces of those things off the ice once they go down.
Is anybody responsible for that? I mean, are you supposed to take care of your own bob house?
Yeah, typically anglers take care of their own stuff. A lot of people who own hardside shanties, that's what they call them, hardsides, will have to go out every day and they do what's called blocking them up, which is they jack them up and they put blocks of wood under to keep the skis off the ice. So as the ice starts swallowing the shanty, it doesn't swallow the skis, it just swallows the blocks of wood. So it's kept a few inches above the ice all the time. It's a lot of work having a hard side shanty.
Yeah,
that's why I don't have one. I am lazy and don't want to do it.
Some hard living.
Yeah.
The other thing in New Hampshire is it's a law that you have to put your name and address on your shanty. So in real big letters, it's got to be out there. So if it's sinking, somebody can walk by and call you and go, hey, dude,
That's the only building regulation. That's it.
Yeah.
Put your name on it, kid.
So you can say, hey, dude, come watch it sing.
Yes, exactly.
Well, okay, so, ice fishing is a very social activity, however. It's a time for solitude. Are people feeling at a loss when we have a winter like this?
One of the saddest places on the internet is iceshanty.com.
Oh.
Yeah.
You go on there and there's threads like, oh, I fell in today.
Oh.
My shanty's gone. I'm dying.
Yeah, I bought a new snowmobile this year and can't use it. That's my thread. It's crazy.
I have to actually talk to my family.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I know you guys are family guys. Thank you guys so much for coming in.
One more question for you.
Yes.
So last year we came on.
Oh, no.
And we asked you if you've ever been ice fishing, and you said no. And have you been out since?
Yeah, I've been out.
Yeah, but not fishing.
So what Clay's getting at is that there is...
You know what? This was going to be the year for me.
But your spot is gone?
Well, we can find ice. Yeah. We can definitely get you out there. And here's another open invitation that we will take you ice fishing.
Okay. I thank you so much, guys.
You're welcome.
I've been really waiting for that. The Fish Nerds, Dave Kellum and Clay Groves. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Dave Kellum and Clay Groves are hosts of the Fish Nerds podcast. You'll find a link to listen to it for yourself on our website, wordofmouthradio.org.
Yeah, how much fun is it to be in the studio?
Oh my gosh! So we've done Boston Public Radio and New Hampshire Public Radio, and I like both of them. But the studios that NHPR has are amazing.
They're just great.
So cool. Man. You feel big time. You know,
you do, and the people there, like you said, WGBH is great too, and maybe has a bigger sort of corporate vibe, maybe. But all the people, I know there must be bad days, but they all seem really happy to be there in NHPR.
Well, why wouldn't you be?
I know.
It's a cool gig, but it's really fun is to like hang out and you see all these people you hear on the air all the time. They're not that different than us. Well, they're just a bunch of nerds who found a way to make money being nerdy.
Well, my favorite, there's lots of them there, but Josh Rogers.
He's a political correspondent, right?
Right. And he's the guy with the low voice.
Kind of grumpy.
And I'm Josh Rogers. And super nice guy. He totally mentored us when we were there months ago trying to do audio pieces. Super nice guy. And just like you said, you know, he's so put together. He's so smart with the political stuff, and he kept interrupting us while we were talking with the producer because he'd lost his keys.
Yep.
He's like, "Yeah, sorry, can I borrow your keys?"
Yep. I don't know how to get back in the building.
I can't get it. Could I borrow your card?
I got to be on the radio now. Yeah, I like them.
So anyway, it's nice to know that there's people that they have real stuff going on. So
yeah, and we'll cycle back. Virginia Prescott did say that she would likely go fishing with us, and I'll keep putting pressure on her.
Yeah, because we could totally go fishing.
Yeah, it'd be great fun.
Yeah. The doctor is in.
Whoa, who?
Dr. Erica Martin.
Been a long time, Dave.
Has been a long time. At least 2 or 3 hair colors.
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about this just this week. This winter, we've been so busy with all the weird different shows we've been doing, special editions, that we've been not cycling back to our correspondence. So we're going to make it a point in these upcoming shows to not only do more with Doc Martin and Luke, but also to find our friends, the amazing... I want to say the amazing Randy, the amazing James and Fish Guy Josh, and get those guys on the show more often and really kind of use our people more.
Yes, we're all about using people.
Not to mention Hugo. Don't want to forget about Hugo. Poor Hugo.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is bigger than both of us now, Clay. You know that.
Which is good because our time is limited,
And there's a lot better people than me out there. That's for sure. I keep telling my daughter that I'm happy because she turned out much better than me.
I'm happy about that too. Nice parenting, Dave. And she voted for the first time this year, right?
She did vote. We got a
crazy cool
little selfie of her voting, and it was very, very exciting. So,
I do have voting advice for daughters.
Oh yeah.
So the other night when I was at that meeting we talked about, there was a woman in the meeting with us. And I don't know where she was from. She had a nice accent, and she was a nice-looking person. Mm-hmm. But she just come from voting, and she was given 2 I voted stickers. And she takes off her jacket, and then she's wearing like a blouse, and she puts one directly on top of each of her nipples. I didn't even know what to say. Like, she's wearing a blouse, and she's not doing it to be like crazy or anything. She just put it one into one, just right on her chest, but dead center on each of her boobs.
Right.
And I'm having a professional meeting, and I can't even look across the table at her because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I would think, I'm not a woman. I don't know what they think or understand any of it. But to me, does that feel okay to you, or do you like what would you do?
Well, she wanted, obviously, she wanted maximum visibility that she voted. You know, she wanted.
No question, she voted. Maybe twice. Yeah. She was doubling down. Doubling. Yeah.
We should change the subject.
Yeah. Luckily, no one's listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So,
anyway,
really, are we going to introduce?
Tell your daughter not to do that.
I will. Are we really going to introduce Doc Martin after that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Speaking of doubling down, we have Doc Martin fresh. She's a college professor in. Where is she from these days?
Kansas. She's still in Kansas. I think she's in
Uganda?
No, Emporia, Kansas.
Yes. And she's a college professor now, fisheries person, and she's our doc still.
Yep. The doctor is in. Dr. Erica Martin on the line. Doc, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing good. Now, I hear you're doing a fan request this time.
I am doing a fan request. Yes.
What fish do you got cooking?
So this one is the sheep's head fish.
Sheep's head fish.
The Archosargus probatocephalus, which is a mouthful.
It is. Okay. What is there any other thing that's sort of similar to that based on that name?
Well, I'm so glad that you asked. So there's a few other fish just in appearance are similar to the sheep's head, and that would include the black drum, Atlantic spadefish. But there's some nuances into how you can tell those two species apart from this sheep's head. Also, there's a few other sheep's head that are also there. Well, a few other fish also called sheep's head as a common name that are in different families. They have big protrusions on their heads. Most of them are marine, but the freshwater drum has also been called sheep's head in slang. So I believe actually when the fan requested this, they used sheep's head, and I asked them specifically to clarify for that exact reason. But they said this is the one that they wanted. They found the species name for me, so.
Oh, very good. Now, you and I both have, at different decades, history in Indiana.
Yes.
And the wonderful watershed there, although it's full of silt and everything else. But sheep's head make me smile because I would catch sheep's head. I would catch, freshwater drum all the time in rivers down there. Did you run into them too?
Oh, yeah. But that's the wrong sheep's head. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
But yes, and they're really cool. So they make little croaking noises and stuff. But the marine sheep's head, so that's the sheep's head in Indiana would be Aplodonatus grunniens.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
Of course, because grunniens, they grunt, they get the croaking sound, right?
Oh, okay.
That's the scientific recording of the croaking sound.
Very nice. Very nice.
But this sheep's head is the marine brackishy water, more kind of reef associated that is on the coasts in the Atlantic in North America, and then all the way down to South America there in the Gulf and stuff.
Okay.
And this is the fish that some people would recognize it by the human-like teeth that it has.
Oh, it's that one.
It's that one. Yes.
Yeah, we see that showing up in Fish in the News a fair amount of time where people say, oh, my God, it's got human teeth.
Yeah, people freak out about it.
Right. Well,
go ahead.
Well, no, I was just thinking, why does it have those teeth?
What a wonderful question. That's exactly where I was going. So the sheep's head, as adults, eat things that are hard and crunchy. So, like, shellfish and mussels and things like that, where they're super yummy on the inside, but not so super yummy on the outside. They got those hard outer shells, right?
Oh, it's like a Tootsie Pop.
It's like a Tootsie Pop.
Right?
But since the sheep's head can't lick to the center, it has to crush its way through.
I get it. Okay, good. I'm with you.
So, it's got like incisors in the front, and then molars in sets of 3 rows in the upper jaw and 2 rows in the lower jaw. I mean, if you haven't, fans out there, you should Google image the sheep's head people teeth. If you just put that into Google, it'll come right up. And it's intimidating. I mean, it looks like, someone put people teeth and then gave them extra molars. And they crunch those shells. It's pretty cool.
Oh, my God. All right. So I did that. And I'm freaked out now.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like people teeth.
That is. But you're right. It's like triple rows and all sorts of craziness. Wow. That's really yucky. Okay.
But yeah, so they eat all sorts of good stuff. The starfish and barnacles and clams and crabs and oysters and all that stuff.
Yeah, this has to be a dentist's nightmare. I mean, there must be like 100 teeth in there.
Ooh, I don't know how many teeth they have. I just know how many rows they have.
How many do humans have? Do you know? Let me see.
I know how many chromosomes humans have. Is that helpful?
Yeah, no, it's not helpful. I'm derailing us. What else do you got about sheep's head?
Well, one of the cool thing about their teeth, again, because that's kind of the thing people look at, they begin to appear, the teeth begin to appear when the sheep's head is just like 4.5 millimeters long. So that's really teeny, teeny, tiny, right?
Wow.
But it'll have to wait until it's about 3 times that length before all the incisors and it begins to develop molars. But interestingly, so we all know that there's lots of heterogeneity in the water, which means that habitats are different.
Okay.
So based on the type of prey that the sheep's head grows up with, so if there's softer prey or harder prey or whatever, each individual sheep's head will actually adapt. So if a sheep's head grows up in an area that has harder prey than another area, that sheep's head's jaw, muscle jaw, and teeth will be stronger than other sheep's heads.
Wow. So like if they grow up in like Twinkie Bay, where there's nothing to eat but Twinkies, they really wouldn't get much teeth at all.
I mean, they still have them, but they wouldn't be as strong, and their jaw muscles would be weak.
Wow.
So if Twinkie Bay all of a sudden disappeared and Oyster Bay appeared, they would be not in such a great position.
They would be out of luck.
They would.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Wow, geez. So really adaptive quickly within just, the age. Wow, okay.
Yeah, so pretty cool.
Yeah.
So interestingly, there's a relative to the sheep's head, and I normally try and focus on one species, but this was too good to pass up. So the relative is the scientific name Sarpa salpa. It's the Salema porgy.
Oh, okay.
So the sheep's head is a delicious fish, by the way. You can angle for it. It's a great catch. Steals your bait. But its little cousin, the Salema porgy, can cause ichthyosarcotoxism, which is basically fish poison. And apparently it causes like vivid hallucinations and nightmares for days after ingested.
Oh, we heard some about this somewhere. Yeah, very good. All right,
so,
what was the name of the first part of the porgy?
Salema, Salema.
Salema. Oh, there he is.
So don't eat that one, though.
Right. Unless...
Or if you do, just cancel your plans for the week.
Right. Dude, pass me another Salema.
Yeah, but there was one... I forget, I think it was a fisherman caught one and ate it, didn't know what it was, and thought he was genuinely losing his mind, and he was so embarrassed, he just locked himself in his house for 3 days until it went away.
What? Wow. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it's not something to mess with.
Wow, I did not know there were hallucinogenic fish out there. That's pretty amazing. Okay.
But the sheep's head, why is it called a sheep's head?
That is an excellent question, Doc. Why is it called a sheep's head?
So no one really knows. This scientist that discovered it way back, I guess, decided that it was. Maybe the teeth look like sheep's teeth, maybe. Or maybe another suggestion was that the name relates to their silhouette somehow being sheep-like.
Not any sheep I've seen.
That's what I think. But the actual species name, the probatocephalus, so literally translates probato, sheep, cephalus, head.
Oh, wow, that's not very inventive. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what they named it for. I guess this guy, maybe he really likes sheep. I don't know.
I don't know either. No, sheep always freak me out. I don't know how you deal with sheep or goats, but it's the eyes.
Oh, because they have really cool irises.
Yeah, they're like square pupils, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure which shape, but they are different.
Yeah, I don't like them.
They stare at you.
Yeah, they freak me out. But all right, so sheep's head are good to eat. Now, Clay, I think, was catching juvenile black drum. And do those look like sheep head?
They do.
Yeah, because he was confused. He's always confused. But
so a really good key characteristic to tell the sheep's head from the black drum is a black drum will have barbels on the lower jaw.
Oh, well, that's a great tip.
Yeah, barbels, the little mustache.
Yeah, the mustache, right. Yeah, okay. So mustache is the drum, and then not that is sheep's head. Now, what about the spadefish?
So the spadefish will have a much shorter snout and a much rounder body, and the dorsal fin, the soft dorsal fin, will be much larger than the sheep's head.
Okay, it sounds like if you had them side by side, it'd be pretty easy.
In theory, yes.
Right. Yeah.
Also, the sheep's head, it's also called the convict fish, which, of course, there's lots and lots of fish that go by that also. Right. But it's called convict because it has dark vertical bars. And so the black drum and the Atlantic spadefish, they will have those when they're littler, but they tend to fade a lot more with age than the sheep's head do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we called those hamburglers in our growing up. No, we didn't. But I don't think convict is. I don't think you can say that. I don't think that's politically correct anymore. Previously incarcerated, I think, is what you'd want to say.
What about the cichlids?
The cichlids?
The convict cichlids.
Once again, no. I think you're being insensitive.
Okay, so previously incarcerated.
Yeah, I guess not even previously, because a convict is. No, I guess you can.
Right?
Can you currently be a convict in a prison? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I've never been to prison.
We'll work on that. You need to broaden your horizons. So.
Okay.
Well, and fish nerds would take off if one of our correspondents got into prison. So I'm just saying. It'd be a good
for the good of the group here.
Exactly, it'd be a really good news splash.
We can have our fans decide what law I should break to get into prison.
I think that is an excellent idea. Well done. Now you're getting on board with this. Yes, very good.
And my parents will be proud too. So it's really a win-win.
Oh, it is absolutely. Well, Doc Martin, you've done it again.
Hey, thanks.
You've given us not only really just, I know you try to stay to one species, but you can't, you just can't.
They're all so good.
Yeah, they are so good. You're a true nerd at heart. So we really, we appreciate it. And it's been too long too.
It has. I know this new job has me crazy busy.
Oh, I know. We all have these lives, but I'm so glad we're staying connected, and we'll catch you soon.
All right. Look forward to it.
That is it.
That's it.
You've listened to a couple of fish nerds when you should have been fishing.
We'd like to thank our families for supporting us while we podcast, go on fishing quests, and do all sorts of silly things that middle-aged guys do. If you, would like to support the Fish Nerds, and you should, by the way, if you enjoyed this, give us some money. Go to patreon.com/fishnerds and give us $1 an episode, $4 a month.
And we've got a lot of people to thank. First of all, Jim and Margery from WGBH. Thanks for having us on the show. Chelsea, the producer, thanks for getting us there and getting us on the show and giving us mugs, actually. We got mugs.
Awesome.
Also at NHPR, thanks to Virginia Prescott for a great interview. And Megan.
Good job.
Thank you so much for being a great producer on that. Luke.
G'day.
Luke Jammings. Thank you so much, Luke. And thanks, Dr. Erica Martin.
I love her. And until next time, follow the code of the Fish Nerds, spawn early and often.
Avoid free lunches with strings attached.
And swim against the current every chance you get.